On December 3rd, 2023, the Little Red Box grocery store will have its last day officially at its current location in the East End. The idea was to build a space designed for conversation, connection, and creativity. Food was something that comes first, and access and availability to all people in the community. We're about to listen to some of the interviews of some of the people that were key in the success to this grocery store. Hello, everybody. I'm here at the Little Red Box grocery store, and if you could tell our audience a little bit about yourself and what the impact this organization has had on the community as well as for you.
Hi, my name is Alina McCarley. I am the general manager here at Little Red Box Grocery. I've been with the company for just over 2.5 years before we even opened here in the East End. And it's really been an eye-opening experience, not only to see the regular customers that we get in here every day that we know by name, that we can really truly feel a difference that we're making in their lives, but also for all the local vendors that we utilize and we try to promote here. You know, it's more than just a place for people to come and get groceries. It's really a place for the community to gather and also for us to bolster and promote and try to help as many local makers here in the East End and Houston at large as we possibly can.
Yeah, and that brings me to my next question, too, is you have so many different products and produce and vendors. So what was that process like, getting all those vendors to actually give some of their products here to your grocery store?
It's been a long, very research-heavy process just to find who's making what in our neighborhood. You know, what people can we directly help just by putting their stuff on our shelves? And it's a lot of market research, figuring out what our customers want to see here in the store and what people are willing to let us sell for them.
And what would you like the audience to know about the Little Red Box Grocery? Any words of wisdom?
It's a hard business, but it's definitely something that's needed here in our neighborhood. There's no fresh food access for over a mile around where we are currently. And that's what we set out to do, is to provide an actual service that's necessary, not just wanted, in an area where a lot of people just don't have the ability to go to a grocery store routinely or don't have the funds and the time to spend on that sort of activity.
So tell our audience what the Little Red Box grocery store has meant for you as an employee.
It's been really gratifying to see the number of people walk in these doors that are thankful that we're here because they don't have the mobility or the time or the money to go to these larger stores that they have to travel over a mile or over an hour just to get to with their limited means. As a fourth generation grocer myself, both my grandparents and great-grandparents owned grocery stores. It's a full circle, and it's been heartwarming to see the outpouring of love and affection for us now that we're going to be closing. And it's just been wonderful to see all of our regulars on a day-to-day basis and getting to know them on a personal level.
And we were just speaking with Alina McCarley, General Manager of the Little Red Box grocery store. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Roger.
I'm here at the Little Red Box grocery store with Bryce Jackson, a local artist. So tell us how you first discovered Little Red Box grocery store.
So I moved in across the street last December, I believe. And, you know, I ride my bike and stuff. And actually, it was before I had my bike. So, like, getting to Kroger was like I just literally had to walk. So I stopped by here to check it out. It seemed really snazzy. I like the vibe and environment of it and stuff. And then since then, it's just been like a fixture of the community. Like, you know, the people here have all been really cool. I just, you know, come by, talk to them, buy stuff, and just, yeah.
So in addition to the vibe, what are some of the things that really stood out for you personally as far as like a grocery store?
Well, they have a lot of stuff that like I just had never seen carried anywhere else. Like they have sheep and goat cheese. I mean, you tell me if you've seen sheep and goat cheese in like, you know, Kroger or something. But yeah, they have like different like seasonal stuff that they would rotate and everything. And like, I think what really started to solidify this place for me was one day I came in and the owner, Sam, he was like, hey, you want to try some granola? And I was like, yeah, I'll try some granola. And it was like pumpkin seeds and stuff. And he was like, we're thinking about stocking this. And it was just like, you know, I've never like lived in a place where there's like a kind of like grocery store kind of community like hallmark like that, where you can that kind of old style of people being able to go somewhere and congregate and also shop and stuff and support local stuff. So
Yeah, and so you were mentioning Sam and introducing you to granola. Tell our audience about the staff of Little Red Box Grocery Store. What has the staff meant for you personally?
Oh, dude, I mean, some of them are my good friends. Everyone up here is just very personable. It's just always been a great vibe. I know I'm a kind of person that I go to the grocery store, I'm making a beeline for self-checkout, because sometimes you just talk to people, they're kind of just there in whatever, mood and stuff. But it's just never been like that here, People have their lives and they go through things, but it's just always been a great atmosphere and aura in this place, man. They've even let me like play music in here.
Oh wow! So you played music here at the Little Red Box Grocery Store. So what is?
Just like my Spotify playlist.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha. Okay, okay. Well, that's good to know. But no, I guess what you're basically saying is nowhere else would you be able to do that.
Yeah, no, it's just like it's a super friendly vibe, and it just makes you feel very welcome here, which is I feel like something that's lacking in a lot of establishments in general nowadays.
And what would you like to see as far as like the Little Red Box Grocery Store in the future?
I definitely don't think it's over for this place, like absolutely at all. There's a lot of development going on around here. I just think maybe, they're a little bit ahead of their time for having enough people around that will really appreciate what this is. But or maybe even if it's another location, but this is a perfect point right here too, because like I said, there's a lot of development going on. But I definitely don't see it being the end whatsoever. I mean, Sam is a great guy. He's a very smart dude. He's very shrewd. So I feel like it's kind of a temporary kind of like pause. I don't see it as an end.
Okay, well, words of wisdom by Bryce Jackson, local interdisciplinary artist. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
With the owner and operator of the Little Red Box Grocery Store, Samuel Newman. Welcome, Samuel.
Thank you, Roger. Good to see you here. Good to be here. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's great to see you too. So I want to get started with how did the concept for the Little Red Box Grocery Store happen for you?
Yeah, so I'll start by saying it's great to be here in your place of business because you're always in mine. The concept came through really just a series of experience I had professionally. I spent a long time working for Texas' favorite grocery store, H-E-B. I was in the research department at H-E-B for a few years, and we would study SNAP households and WIC households and try to understand how we can best feed Texans of modest means. And I would hear in focus groups that getting to the grocery store is a challenge for some, but not for all. I had the opportunity to move to Houston a few years later after leaving H-E-B, and I ran an incredible nonprofit called Brighter Bites, which is a public health nonprofit masquerading as food distribution. We would go into low-income schools and provide fresh fruits and vegetables to children and their families and complement that with some nutrition education. And I would see kind of week in and week out families and children kind of clamoring for really great fresh food. And it was these two learnings that really kind of sparked the interest in Little Red Box, which is demand for good food exists everywhere, but supply does not. And so the idea was, in theory, where there is a mismatch, there should be a market. And so what I tried to do was in essence, reverse engineer the grocery store, the community market, not 60,000 square feet, but 650, not 50,000 items, but about 700, 800 items, and really lean into community partnerships and just try to develop an intimate customer experience around good food And what we say at the store is the table comes first. We start with food and then we build from there. And in many ways, we've had a tremendous amount of success. We've gotten to know amazing people. We've learned about stories, their stories. We've learned how to run a better store. But interestingly, as I'm sitting here on November 28th, we've got about 5 days left that we'll be in business, because this business is damn hard. And without volume and without high prices, it was just hard for us to make it through. It's not to say this will never happen again. I think we've learned enough to try to reiterate, and that's where we are. But for now, the store at Harrisburg that we've all come to know and love is it's going to take a little pause.
Yes, and I remember when I met you over a year ago at the Little Red Box grocery store. I was just walking with a coworker, and then we were amazed by what we saw. I'm like, what's that about? And so I walked in, and I remember you were very welcoming. The staff was very welcoming. I was amazed at the variety of food that I've seen there. What has been your learning experience with the local community here in the East End as far as like the client base for you?
Yeah, so the client base very intentionally is about as varied as Houston itself. One of the sayings we have is, we have a lot of sayings, by the way, at the store, but one of the sayings we have is that we're not the store for one, but we're the store for everyone. And so what does that mean, right? That means we're going to have some really high-end, locally made, super high-quality items that will carry a heavier price tag, but we're also going to have your Cheerios. We're also going to have your pantry essentials, your canned goods, and we joke that we have every ketchup you could ever want, as long as it's the ketchup we have on the shelf. And so that's the line we've tried to walk, which is having a point of view around there should be good, fresh food and pantry essential access, irrespective of your zip code. Right, and there are not big box stores in every zip code for a variety of reasons. But what we were trying to do is be that access point when you couldn't make it to to the Kroger that's a couple miles away. At the same time, we were really leaning more into the healthful aspect, really trying to stock healthy, fresh, but also leaning more into the local, not only locally made, but locally grown. And so again, a lot of the local and certainly organic items come with a heavier price tag. So then how do we accommodate access? We have a number of folks who come in and shop and buy anything they want. We also have quite a hefty amount of our customers are on food assistance. And so all of our fresh fruits and vegetables are half off if you shop with food stamps through a great program that's funded through the state. And so, we would host the Houston Food Bank to come in and sign folks up for benefits. We host the Houston Public Library to sign people up for library cards. And it's these kinds of things that we would do that are beyond just selling groceries, right? The selling the groceries is, it doesn't take a brain surgeon to buy an apple for 40 cents and sell it for 65. It's not easy, but it's also not, brain surgery. What we tried to do was really lean into the community aspect. That's what was the hard work, but it was also the reason I think we deserved to be here.
Yeah, and I was amazed by the variety too of like produce and products, and even the local vendors. I didn't know who a lot of them were, and then all of you educated me on that. Alina earlier today mentioned one of the refrigerators that said the American Heart Association, and that caught my attention too, because I'm trying to educate myself on produce and the things that are actually good for your heart. So tell us about that organization.
Yeah, so the American Heart Association has been, Alina, by the way, who you mentioned, our general manager, who's amazing and has gotten us where we are. The American Heart Association, their local chapter, has been a supporter of ours from before we opened our doors. They actually bought that refrigerator for us. And the idea, of course, was to showcase the fresh, healthy items that we said we would carry, and ultimately we did. And so that's all well and good, right? They bought us a refrigerator and we put fresh produce in it. But what AHA and Emily Paul and her team there really did for us is they helped educate us so that we could work with our shoppers on how to eat well or better if you're suffering from some diet-related chronic disease, and to really let us and help us as the quote unquote the guardian, right, the mouthpiece of health and wellness, so that we could in turn try to educate our customers to the best of our ability, right? We're not nutritionists. But I certainly know that some things are better to eat than others. But they would equip us not only with knowledge, but also with great recipes to send folks home with. And they've just been a gift. The American Heart Association does great work.
Yeah, and I was amazed too by the number of people that go in there, and different walks of life and different dietary restrictions, sure. And all of you provide excellent information to them. What has this experience meant to you personally, being part of the Little Red Box Grocery?
Yeah, Yeah, so this is where I'm going to get emotional on camera, and I blame you for that. We put a lot into this store. What started as a tadpole of an idea became the store that you and Mel and Ronnie and so many come in every day, every week, and I've never worked harder and I've never had more fun, and it's been an emotional week since we made this public. And I was showing you earlier, I keep a list of the emotions that I've encountered throughout the week, not only coming at me but radiating from me. And it's an odd grieving process, which I think is not just me and the team. We're hearing it a lot, and folks are processing this. And it's funny because it's a 650 square foot grocery store, right? What are we doing? Close the doors and people move on. And in many cases, that's probably the case. But I think it really mattered. It certainly mattered to me, and it didn't work. It just didn't work, and not everything does. But when we close our doors for the last time at this location on Sunday, you cannot ever take away from me the pride and joy that we had in getting to know people and getting to hear from people, and really kind of having that touch point and being a place for connection and creativity. I don't want to make it more than it is, but I also don't think I'm overselling it. I really think that we built bonds in that store that you could see when you mentioned the variety of shoppers that we had. But, Roger, when you came in with someone, shopping next to someone who is in need, maybe on food assistance, living a fundamentally different life than you are, but you're engaging in the same space, in the same way, having the same experience, which I hope was often a good one. I think there's something spiritual that happens there. You can't put your finger on it, but it's an equitable access point. That's what we always try to do. And I think we did. I think what we set out to do, we did, just not for enough people. But watch this space, as they say. I know you guys will be watching.
Most definitely, and I do feel that this is a very big learning experience, not just for yourself, but for a lot of us too. The way we look at food, the way we interact with others, and I personally wanted to tell you how much it meant to a lot of us. And I don't see anything necessarily as just the end, maybe a new evolution, kind of like what they say in science, energy can't be destroyed, it just changes form. Right. That might be a possibility for you guys.
Hey, look, we, when we started the first iteration of this down in Galveston 2 months after the pandemic, and it was very much a click and collect in the low-income community, and we learned a lot, and the evolution of that became what we see every day here in Houston. So this would be 2.0. And my team and I are already thinking about what 3.0 looks like. If fate allows, we'll have a 3.0. When and where and how, we'll see. Mm-hmm. We'll see. But this work we do, right? This idea of equitable access to something as critical as food, and then beyond that, healthy food, and beyond that, community engagement. This is not a problem that is going away, not here in Second Ward, not anywhere. We've got one little store on one little street in one little neighborhood, but we did what we could here, and I think we've got a lot of room to run because we've got to find solutions to problems that won't go away.
That's right. And those are very powerful words. And I just want to thank you for the opportunity to speak with us today. We were just speaking to Samuel Newman, owner and operator of the Little Red Box Grocery, hopefully to see a 3.0 in the near future.
You're a good man. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Y'all are amazing.
For more great content, be sure to subscribe to Houston Media Source on YouTube.